You know when you have a really cool idea and you get really excited about it because in your head it's awesome and it's gonna work out perfectly? I had that idea with a couple of cups and well, I ended up with things like this. Now the idea that I had with these cups was to do a wooden cup with a tumbler insert, and that way I didn't have to worry about any sort of finish on the inside, and I didn't have to worry about these cups going bad or anything. And this idea was simple enough in my head that I thought it was a home run. Obviously it wasn't. I started out with 3 cups and ended up with 0 cups. Now, instead of scrapping this project and scrapping the video that I spent a lot of time working on, my friend suggested to me that I just turn this into a teachable moment video where I can kind of walk you guys through the things that I did wrong that I didn't notice, or the things that I did wrong that I knew were gonna end up bad. I'm gonna be starting this video in the middle of the planned video, which is where I've already made the cup blanks and I'm just about ready to get them turned. My main goal of this video is to help you guys avoid making problems like me. So that being said, let's dive into it and let's learn something. So I planned these obviously to be the height of the cup I needed, but in my head I had already planned to inset a bottom for these. If I inset a bottom for these, there's no way this cup is gonna sit flush with this. So I'm just gonna, I think, put a bottom on this, which I don't really want to do per se, but I don't know what else to do about it because this won't work with an inset bottom. So this wasn't a problem per se, it was more of just a design flaw, and it kind of kicked off this whole problem series that I had with these cups. It is a good way to start when you're making cups, just by gluing the bottom onto the base of your cup, because you don't have to worry about cutting out a recess and making the bottom fit into that. And honestly, I just wanted to set the base of the cup into the cup because it would make it look more like a solid piece of wood more than a piece of wood with another piece of wood glued to the bottom of it. But we make mistakes. What are we going to do about it except learn and move on? Which, as you guys know, is the whole purpose of this video. The glue is dried. I have much excite, and we are ready to turn. I will say this, turning these cups is very easy because you are basically turning face grain the whole time, except for obviously the foot of the cup. But if you did an inset base on the cup, then you really would be turning all face grain until you get to the top of the cup. So I put this tenon on here. That's what my chuck's gonna grab onto. How I'm gonna remove it, I'm not fully sure, but I'll figure out a way, I'm sure. Pause. This tenon will prove to be a problem in the end on one of my cups. You can see here that I carved away the tenon, but I didn't leave myself enough material on the bottom of the cup to have a good, solid base for the cup, if that makes sense. Moving on. Not a ton. Not a ton. We need to keep this close by so we don't mess this up. I really need to take my time on this because I don't want to make it oversized. This is just going to be a checking game. We're just going to have to turn a little, check it. Turn a little, check it. Which is totally right. That's exactly what I should be doing, and it is exactly what I did do. But it's amazing how quick the material can be taken away with just a small touch of your tool. Oh, we're close. We're really freaking close.
And with being that close, I should have stopped using my tool and just started sanding.
Booyah. Yep, that is exactly what I was thinking. There's definitely a lot of wiggle room here, which bums me out. I'll have to figure that out later. But this looks good. I think we got this.
Like I said before, I was very confident in making these cups. That I think was one of my bigger downfalls of making these cups. But with the optimism of a 7-year-old wearing a Superman cape, I trudged on. If I was just turning these cups as wooden cups with no insert, these would have been perfect. I don't want to discourage anybody from making wooden cups with this video, because wooden cups like these are actually pretty easy and I think a really good beginner turning project. And with these cups, I wanted to focus on the inside first, but obviously I had to get the outside round in order to have it well balanced. But once I got the outside rounded, I could turn it around and start working on the inside. Once I got the inside diameter correct for the cup, I could then focus on getting the outside diameter right. But for this style of cup, focus on the inside first.
Dang it, I overcarved again! Man! It's so loose up top. But you can just see around the rim maybe. It's loose, dude. It's just way oversized up at the top. Like, way oversized. How do we combat that? I mean, like, I know I can just, when I put the epoxy in, put enough in to where it fills that little gap. But dude, that's gonna bug me so much. It's gonna look so bad, I think.
At this point, I knew that that cup was not going to work. I knew that my epoxy idea was an idea and it could probably sort of work, but I knew that I was not gonna like the cup and I knew it was doomed to fail. But I pressed on anyways.
Yeah, see, this is what I want. That's like a really, really tight fit. I can barely even get that out. Now what I should do is just lightly sand until I know I'm good. Just here with 120. Yep, look at that. Look at that go in. That is exactly what I want for all of them. I'm gonna get this in. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to get it back out. Oh, it can't go in all the way yet.
So after I got that second cup turned, I moved my attention to the epoxy. And this part was really nerve-wracking because, again, I knew that that other cup was going to need a lot of help. This cup, which is made of poplar, ended up working really well, and the epoxy ended up going in there very smoothly. I did have to end up clamping this tumbler into the cup because I think that there was some air that couldn't escape, but with a clamp holding it down, the epoxy hardened and everything worked out fine.
So I want it more to this side for sure, and we're gonna need a bunch of epoxy down in there. I have no idea how to do this. We're getting epoxy in there. The problem is this whole thing is gonna have to fill up with epoxy in order to even start sealing that off, right? I think this needs to be thicker, dude. This isn't thick enough with like wood shavings and stuff.
So what I ended up doing here to combat my epoxy problems was I went over and I grabbed a ton of shavings from this bowl and I just mixed them in with the epoxy and made a paste.
It's either gonna look okay or it's gonna look like hot garbage in the end. We will see. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. My excitement for these is fading quickly. And I think what part of it is just that the vision for these is not turning out what I thought it was going to be. And so that brings my excitement down. That being said, this one looks awesome. This is just the plain walnut one. I am gonna finish turning this and I think it's gonna look really great. I'm not giving up on this project. I am gonna see this all the way through, but my hopes are low. But let's see if we can turn them around.
So a few days have passed and it's time to start turning away the epoxy on the cup that, well, I knew wasn't gonna look good. And in hindsight, I don't know why I even attempted to do this, because I should have just started the cup blank over and made a new one.
Oh, I think I see silver. Yep, I turned to the cup. I turned to the brim of this, and I'm actually kind of curious, because this is just aluminum, I think? I'm actually curious if I could just turn this. And since I'm already gonna be disappointed in it, I think I'm gonna.
Now, you guys couldn't see the epoxy in that last shot, but it was bubbly and it had gaps in it. So that's why I decided to continue turning the brim of this cup in order to see if I could make it work somehow. And now I'm just trying to turn the aluminum to see if I can turn aluminum.
Dang. Well, that did not work. It busted out. I guess I don't know why I thought that this would be full solid, but you can see it's definitely not. Well, it still has a metal insert. I'm gonna scratch this one. It's just a disappointment. I don't want to deal with it anymore. I already knew I was gonna scrap it basically when I put the epoxy all around it. It was just doomed to fail basically, but let's see if we can make this poplar one work, and we have the walnut one that'll work for sure, so let's just make do with what we got. Yes. Okay. I think that looks good. With the top on this. Oh, yeah, that looks good. Okay.
Could you hear the excitement in my voice? You could tell I was so stoked to get at least one of these to work. Now, I knew in turning this tenon I needed to be careful not to turn the base of the cup super thin. And one of my habits is to concave my bases so it would go up into the cup, but I was really trying hard to avoid that.
Oh no! Look at that. You're kidding me. I was not thinking I was that thin. Bro. No! Dude, I think I'm still gonna glue it on there. Ugh. Yeah, I'm gonna glue it on there. Gosh, why?
I should not have tried to pull that little nub off. I should have turned it thinner.
Okay, I have to take a minute to think about if I actually want to save this, dude. I don't want to save it. I'm like so done. No words. It's so frustrating with things like this. Luckily, this isn't like a client job or anything like that. It's just for YouTube, and it's supposed to be for a friend. But here I'm just disappointed because I was hoping to present my friend with these badass tumblers. Let's move on. I've got this walnut one. I'm gonna turn that out real quick. I should not have any problems with that. And we're gonna wrap this up. Dude, this is just not meant to happen. What the heck? I'm turning this thing, as you guys saw, and I found a crack in it. It was right here. And that crack had formed all the way down and left a gap up here. And then I did a pressure test on it like this, and the whole thing cracked off.
One thing you can see in this shot right here, I turned the base of that cup way too thin, and that is probably where the crack formed and got a lot worse. That's on me. I should have been checking that, and that makes over 3 cups turned.
These cups are my biggest failures. And that's it for me, guys. I hope that you learned a lot in this video. I know that in the process of trying these cups out, I learned a lot. Probably that I won't try them again. But one thing that I am sure of is that a good craftsman always learns from their mistakes. So I'm glad that I could learn from this, but I'm hoping again, you guys learn from this. Thanks for watching, guys. Be good, be safe, be happy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.